Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez. You are watching the Wise Coffee Chat Show. Super excited to be here this morning. And now that I think about it, let me check to make sure that there's some audio here before I keep talking and that we're actually. Hello, everyone. So that sounds good. So, who am I? My name is Jennifer Sanchez. I am the founder of the Wise Alliance Network and as well as Wise. We put together networking events, we put together boot camps, we put together retreats. We just like to bring together women and entrepreneurs on different levels and just have people connect socially. Also, I am a real estate investor. So if anyone's looking to sell their property, I'm more than happy to make an offer cash, close 30 days or less. And then, of course, finally, I'm a mom of 3 beautiful girls. So that is who I am. So let me pass it over to my amazing guests to introduce themselves this morning and just let them know who they are. So I'll pass it over to Juan first. Juan?
Hey, good morning. First, thanks for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity. But yeah, my name is Juan Valtierra. I'm an insurance agent with Country Financial. Also a father of 2. I have my little princess that can do no wrong ever. A little 9-year-old, 9 going on like 30. Sassy and stuff. And then I also have my little tornado, my little boy. He's 7 years old. And yeah, so I'm here, doing the whole insurance thing now. Nice. Trying to help out people.
Nice.
That's a little bit of who I am.
Nice. Thank you. We'll talk more about your little tornado. I'd like to learn more about your family and everything. And who is this right next to me?
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Jennifer, for having us. It's been great catching up while we're setting up. So my name is Marisol Puentes. I'm with Country Financial Insurance. I'm a realtor as well as an insurance agent, mom of 2 teenage boys, growing boys at home.
Oh, wow.
Almost out of the house. Yeah. So yeah, insurance and real estate. I'm also a landlord and a homeowner.
Oh, there you go. She's a real estate investor. Nice. I'm excited to learn more about that. So for those that are watching, or whether you're watching live or watching the replay, definitely chime in, make sure you chat and engage. But we have a segment in the show. It's called Coffee Time. So the whole purpose, just so you guys know why I decided to do this, whatever many years ago I did this, I always felt like entrepreneurs were big on, let's get together for coffee. I mean, I'm sure you guys have said it or someone has told you that, right?
Yeah. At least once a week.
At least once a week, right? Let's do like a coffee meeting or a coffee, whatever, right? And then during COVID, no one was able to get together for coffee, right? Restaurants were shut down. So then that's where this idea came, like, why don't I just do a show and do it, as a coffee chat, right? And then have people have coffee and eat. But I also want to know, what kind of coffee are you drinking? Right? Because like I am a coffee lover. I've always felt, I don't know if it's just because I'm Mexican or culturally or growing up, they gave me coffee at like 2, 3 years old.
Yeah.
Like coffee was just always involved in my life. I even remember, now that I think about it, like every morning, Sunday morning, my dad, it was like a thing with my mom and my dad that they would make coffee, brew it. I would wake up to, I knew my dad was home. He didn't go to work because I could smell the coffee.
Like that classic Folgers
Folgers,
commercial.
yeah, like the commercial,
Yeah.
like Folgers in your cup, right? Like all of that. Like I just remember, like, wow, like my dad's home. So it was like a thing in the morning on Sunday mornings before I went
that's
to
nice,
church,
yeah.
right? So like I just love coffee. So anyways, I want to know what you guys are drinking, because I feel like it tells me a little bit about your personality. So
Interesting. All right.
yeah. So who wants to go first to share what they're drinking this morning?
I guess I'll start off real quick. So I am drinking a venti ice americano with cream and 4 Splendas.
Oh
Right.
wow. Okay.
So I guess doing the Splendas because I'm diabetic. So even though artificial sugar, real sugar, it's all bad. But
right.
whatever. But me myself, I was never really a coffee drinker.
Mhm.
Until maybe I want to say the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
But yeah, no, trust me, it smelled nice, right?
It
Like growing
smells
up, it
great.
does smell great.
Yeah.
Makes you a little comfort. It
Yeah.
gives you a little like warm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. And maybe because when I tasted it for the first time, it was just black without like cream and sugar. And I said, nope, this is not for me. And then slowly started like sipping it with like cream and sugar and empezó a gustar. But I prefer iced coffee. I don't like hot drinks.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Even when I do drink a hot coffee, I have to like let it cool down for like 30, almost 40 minutes, warm. But no, I can't do hot coffee.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
See,
I didn't know that.
You're
about
getting
you.
to know something about your own coworker,
Yeah.
your peer, right?
Yep.
See, that's cool. So, it's venti and
Mhm.
it's Americano. So, Americano, what's the difference between? I always forget. Americano's just plain,
I
right?
think
Plain
it's
coffee,
just
right?
coffee.
Yeah,
That's all it is,
Americano,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Americano, and then the 4 Splenda. So that told us a lot of. I think I feel like I know you a little more, right? What about you, Marisol?
So I'm having a café de olla.
Oh, mira.
No cream in there. I am a black coffee drinker regularly. I just like the taste of coffee. I need the full potential that it can give me. I don't need it watered down. So I need all the energy, all the good stuff from it. I started drinking coffee maybe about 10 years ago when I used to work with
Bring it
like
closer
a.
to your
All right, perfect.
Get a little closer to your mouth.
So I was never a big coffee drinker. I started working around a little bit of older women at one point, like 10
Okay.
years ago. And
Okay.
they were very big into, en la mañana, we had our little cafecito with pan.
Oh, look at that.
So I try to be with the cool kids and started drinking coffee, but I did start drinking it with a lot of sugar.
Peer pressure will do that.
It was, right? Yeah, it was
Peer
a lot of peer pressure. Yeah.
from old ladies.
Yeah.
Old ladies.
Not that they weren't that old, okay, guys? Like
She's
if anybody's
like,
watching,
if you're
I love
watching.
you guys. You weren't old. You're just a little older than me. I was one of the younger ones in the group, right? So I did just drink it with a lot of sugar though before.
Nice.
So yeah, I slowly started backing away from the sugar because I tried to be a little healthier.
There you go.
So then I got into black coffee, and usually that's like what I drink now. And I'm not a fan of iced coffee unless
Really?
it's summer and it's really, really hot.
Yes,
Yes.
coffee
Then
ain't a
I
fan
need
of you.
something.
Coffee, no fan of you.
Yeah.
I
a
love
little
that.
harsh one.
But right, it's funny because my co-host who couldn't be here, unfortunately, she says I'm a psychopath because I drink black coffee.
My cousin tells me that all the
So,
time.
like, who
He's like, "Why are
does
you
that?
drinking black coffee?"
You know
Yeah.
what's the best black coffee? I've said this before. Best black plain coffee, just McDonald's ice.
I get mixed reviews
Ooh,
about what I've heard. I don't know.
That's
Just
probably my
ice,
least favorite
Ice,
black coffee.
I love it. I don't know. It just does. It's not so harsh because, like, if you go to like Starbucks and get black coffee,
No, I can't do. I
That's-
just can't do that. It's
you-
too strong.
it's too strong. And I'm like, man, I need a black coffee that'll wake me up, but not feel so bitter sometimes. And I like it iced. Like sometimes I just want iced coffee.
Yeah.
I don't want the hot.
Okay.
So then I'm like, oh, McDonald's, right? So there was a point I would always get black coffees, and they look at me like I'm a psychopath. Like, you're getting black coffee from McDonald's, like, I'm like, I like it. I don't know. But that, and I've always found like gas station, this sounds terrible, but like gas station black coffee, sometimes it's just better. I don't know why. Maybe
Right?
it's just
It's
some
got extra flavor in there, sitting around.
not being
Not in a
cleaned
good
out.
way.
Like let's say like if you were to take like a trip and go, anyone likes to drive? Do you guys like to drive?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like road trips
and stuff. Yeah.
those are the coffees that I like in the
I
middle of
agree
like
with you.
Tennessee or something
Yeah.
like that,
I agree with you.
I hope they clean them. Like I just,
Sometimes you don't have to know everything,
Yeah,
Some
it's
things are
better,
better left unsaid.
better unknown.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
love
Let
that.
me ask you guys a question. Do you feel like coffee actually wakes you up?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not really for me.
No.
It's a bad habit for me. I really think that I'm just used to it.
Mm.
And I like the smell. I just want something familiar, and I'm just it's a bad habit for me.
Yeah, I think I can drink coffee and still go to sleep. So
Yeah.
like I know I could still do that. Like it doesn't, how some people are like I can't do more than this because then I,
Yeah.
I won't
That's
go to
me.
sleep. Yeah, yeah.
I can't have coffee after 12.
See like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like you. So they're like, no, I can't do it. But for me, I could drink at 9 o'clock at night and still go to sleep like 2 hours
Yeah.
later. So I'm okay. But that's probably because of my ADHD.
Oh.
So, that's why. But I feel like the Starbucks, those 3 espresso shots that they put in the Starbucks drink, that wakes me up. So because I
Okay.
think for a grande, it's 3 shots of espresso. Like they put in it already.
I never know how many shots they put in there. Like it tastes good. Let's go.
Yeah. So like I'm doing. I think you got me. Thank you for the coffee. You got me the white mocha with soy milk, right? And I think that's it, right? I said white mocha. One pump of the syrup, because I can't do those.
Too sweet, yeah.
Oh Lord, when they do 4 pumps of that syrup. So I'm like, just give me 1 pump, please. Don't give me all of that craziness. But that's why like this, like I just need it because it's like, okay, I know it's 3 shots of espresso. I'll be good. That's why I'll drink it. But usually I'm like a black coffee girl too, for sure. So for those that are watching, make sure that you guys, engage, reach out, chime in, don't be shy, let us know what you're drinking. But I want to know more about your stories, right? Like I know what you guys do, Country Financial. Why do you do what you do? And we'll start off with Juan.
So you know what? I kind of fell into insurance, right? Wasn't
everybody does?
Yeah,
right?
That's what I keep hearing.
I don't think you grow up saying I want to be an insurance agent.
Yeah. Well, my daughter does say that now, but yeah, no, I just kind of fell into it. So I was actually a pharmacy technician for like 17 years, right?
Really?
Yeah. So I was a pharmacy tech, worked out of an independent pharmacy in the back of the yards neighborhood, and started having a family. And I love helping people, don't get me wrong, right? But it just felt like I needed more, like for my family. I felt like, I guess it came to a point where I started thinking, I think I do have a purpose in life, and como que this ain't it anymore, I still love helping people, don't get me wrong, but I just wanted to help them in a different way. So I started looking into real estate, reached out to a cousin because she had become a realtor. So I asked her, hey, can you kind of help me out and guide me? And then COVID happened, and then that kind of took a little break because it just got real busy at the pharmacy with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And then, but it's still just something that just wasn't there anymore, And then my mom passed in 2021. And I feel like eso made me, ahora sí, like, man, you know what? This is it. Like, you got to do something with your life,
Life is short.
Yeah, exactly. Life is short. My mom passed at 59. I think she was still young. Life is short, and I don't want to be stuck here forever, right? So I need to find something. And I wanted the whole realtor route, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I just knew that wasn't for me anymore, right? So then I did reach out to a friend of mine who's a realtor for some guidance, and he kind of, he said maybe hold off on the realtor. Maybe it wasn't the best time at the time I was asking him. But he said, if you want to be around, the same industry, I have a friend who's hiring insurance agents. I can sit you down with him and just have a conversation. And yeah, I sat down with him and we hit it off. We pretty similar, similar jokes, similar backgrounds, similar, so very relatable. And he transparent, honest with me, and yeah, sit down with him, and then here I am. Now I consider him like a mentor and stuff. So
that's awesome.
And shout out to Alonso.
Hey, shout out to Alonso. And the thing is that I can still help people. I can still help people, whether it's you know, with a home insurance, maybe house, the garage caught on fire and they need that attention, and I can be there. Um, got into a car accident at 10 o'clock at night. I've gotten those calls too. Hey, what should I do? Pick up. And now the most important part is that I'm helping families with life insurance too. Set them up for success. So they're not in a financial burden. Trying to gather up funds and create GoFundMe accounts and stuff. And so that's what I really like, that I can still help people out.
Yeah.
Especially in the Latino community, where I feel like sometimes we're not educated on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So to kind of break down everything simple and just kind of explain to them, and then I see their reaction and they're like, oh dang, I didn't know that. So that makes me feel good. So,
Nice. It's fulfilling.
yeah.
And I'm sure, I mean, if your daughter or son is saying, I want to be an insurance agent, you must talk about it so
Yeah.
much. And they're like, I want to be like my dad.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, yeah, my daughter, she drew a little picture of herself, like a little business suit, and like, I
Aw.
want to be an insurance agent.
I love that.
Yeah, and the thing now is that I get to kind of teach them about finances in a way, and things that we weren't educated on growing up. And not to blame our parents, they came over here from Mexico to
Yeah.
work, and
They didn't
They
know.
was-
They
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Someone has to
yeah.
bring up the topic to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about you, Marisol?
So me, where do I start?
You fell into this as well?
Yeah, well, sort of, yeah. I was doing real estate I still have my license, but I don't practice too much. I was doing real estate for about 3 years. No, at that point, I think I was 4 years in already. And my current insurance agent at the time, because I have Country Financial and I have had them for maybe over 8 years now, 7 years. My insurance agent at the time became a manager, and he started reaching out to talk to me about insurance, because in real estate industry, I was kind of trying to back out of it, and I wasn't sure if that was the route that I wanted to go anymore. So started talking about insurance, and it seemed like a really good fit and seemed like to make sense. So I just decided to join the industry. I have found that I like it a lot more than real estate. It's a lot more fulfilling, still helping people out, right? But it's a different type of fulfillment that I get from knowing that people are insured and they're in the right hands when they leave out of here. They know that their homes are covered, their autos are covered. We live in the homes, right? We're there every day. We sleep in these homes. We drive these cars every day. Our lives are protected and stuff. So, it touches me in a different kind of way, right? Life insurance specifically.
Yeah.
So,
and I think what I love when you guys see me struggling to set up all this stuff, right? Right. This is not easy. Like people think like, oh, no, it's not easy. This is not
she
easy.
put in some work, guys.
You take time to set this up. We were talking about your background. Like you guys are both from the city, Chicago, born and raised, right?
Yeah.
Or if I'm not mistaken, or raised in Chicago, back of the yards and little village, right? So like you around your community, I'm assuming because you're serving Latinos as well, right? Yeah. And you grew up, like how fulfilling is that to know that you're giving back to the Hispanic community, Latino community?
Yeah, it's extremely fulfilling. And kind of like Juan mentioned, I feel like a lot of our Latino community just isn't educated. I don't feel like there's enough people that really care enough. There's a lot of people that just kind of want to make money off of our community. And
of course,
yeah, I hear that all the time. People are kind of like, no, I feel, especially with real estate, people will tell me like, I've worked with this person and they just wanted me to buy the first house that I saw. And I always tell people I'm not going to be the one that's living there for 30 years. It's going to be you. So if you're happy with it, then let's do it. And if not, I'm not going to push you on the sale. Same thing with insurance. People just don't know what's out there, right? You don't know what you don't know. If no one has a conversation with you, if no one explains these coverages to you, you kind of just get a document and you get told, oh, this is a price for the year. You don't know what's covered. You have a claim that you have to file, and nobody cares enough to like explain the whole policy to you. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Education in our community is needed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, yeah, most definitely. One of the things too is I try to So where my kids go to school is right there in the back of the yards, and they've helped out me and my family, when I was in between the pharmacy and insurance, and so I try to give back to the school there too. So maybe had like a little teachers appreciation lunch, and then whenever they do their back to school thing, I'm there set up just to educate the people. Yeah, because like Marisol said, people don't know what they don't know, right? And a lot of people are driving around underinsured, and when I have those conversations with them, they're like in awe, like for real. And the way things are going nowadays with everything being so expensive, like that's not enough no more. So just explaining that to them, and just kind of que se les prenda el foco, it feels good, So we're giving back, by educating, the community, and that feels real good.
That's good.
And we actually we did a little bit more than that too. This past winter, we did some with Alonso. We did a like a winter coat gift back.
Very nice.
So I know Juan went to like a school out by you.
Pretty much the same school where my kids go to. Just because Latino community. So también as far as financial status is not the greatest in those areas. So there are definitely kids, especially some of these kids that parents just got here from Venezuela as well, and they're not used to these cold winters and stuff, so they're not prepared. So got together with some of the teachers and say, hey, what students can we help out? And we went over there and gave them some quotes and stuff.
That's really awesome that you're going back into your community and supporting the community that you're from. And I think a lot of times we forget, right? And especially right now, I guess, like the climate, the everything that's happened with the immigration stuff right now, and the inflammation. And I never really like to be like a downer on my show, but the reality is stuff is happening in the neighborhoods. You can't ignore it as much as you want. So the fact that there's still businesses like you guys, right, that are supporting community type events, or supporting community organizations, that's awesome. Like you guys sponsored my karaoke event. It wasn't even like that exciting. Like, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. We did karaoke. We hung out. We did our thing, right? But I'm saying, like, it was a bunch of entrepreneurs just getting together and doing karaoke, right? So thank you. I really appreciate you guys supporting that event. And then I know I saw Nick Ramos right now. He just gave a what's it called? The strong arm, and he's
flexing.
That's where we did the karaoke event at his space.
Great space, by the way.
Oh, beautiful,
beautiful
space. Yeah, and he snapped even more, and he like did even more stuff to the front.
I saw that he posted some stuff up in the front. Yeah, it looks nice.
It looks really good. So we have someone, Brian, who's part of my investment community. He said, insurance question, just seen a crazy car wreck on the Stevenson Expressway this morning. Pretty sure there was a fatality. Will auto insurance pay out to family or spouse in a situation like this?
Pay out who? Pay for the wreck, or if the fatality?
I don't know. Maybe Brian, if you're still on, let's can you elaborate a little bit more on that part of the question, right? Right. But the question was, will auto insurance pay out to family or spouse in a situation like this? It sounds like it's like a life insurance kind of question, but let me wait. If he's still watching that, he'll respond to that. But in the meantime, right? Fatality. He wrote fatality. Okay, so is that something that you guys do?
So one thing that is included in the policy is there is a death benefit. So in the event that you were to, accidentally, kill someone, then there is a certain amount. And that's one of those things that a lot of these insurance companies either have a really low amount, and just to kind of save a buck or two. But at least in when I'm quoting out people, I try to max it out as much as I can, and it's honestly dollars, cents. It's not that much of a difference. So those people definitely that are out there driving, just go through your coverages, make sure that you have enough coverage in the event that you do accidentally, that does happen to you, that you're covered.
And if you have $25,000 worth of coverage, please reach out and get some more.
So a lot of people don't know that in the state of Illinois, you're required to have at least $25,000 of liability coverage towards an individual, and up to $50,000 per occurrence, right? So what that is pretty much if you're driving and if you hit someone, you only have up to 25,000 to cover that person's medical expenses. Same example. Now you hit a car and there's three people in that car. You have up to 50,000 to cover
Everything.
everyone. Right? We
Well,
all
let's
know
be honest.
that nowadays,
Everybody likes to sue. Everybody wants
Yeah.
to gotta go get physical therapy, emergency visit.
So it's-
25,000 is not enough coverage.
Mhm.
Those medical bills alone are gonna eat that up quickly.
sounds like a lot, right? 25,000 is it's a nice little chunk, but
Yeah.
as far as insurance goes, it's not as much.
So what's a recommended amount that you would advise those that watch that they should get?
Honestly, I like as far as me, I quote out people with at least 100,000, right?
Okay.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
100,000.
100,000.
Now, look,
Okay.
my thing is, al fin del día, el cliente manda, right? That's how I look at
Yeah.
it, right? If they're dead set on having those minimum coverage, then
Well, you
tú
can't do
mandas,
nothing, yeah.
yeah, that's what you want, but you just know that this is what's gonna happen if you were to seriously injure someone, right? So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but at least 100,000 is always recommended, and trust me, it's not a lot. A lot of people think that it's a big jump. But
Sounds like a lot.
sounds like a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I could see that. I could see that being a necessity. So definitely for those that are watching, check your insurance policy. And like car insurance is just one of those things. It's like, like people usually like, let me
Yeah.
just make sure I have car insurance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that's why they go with the cheapest
They
one.
go with the
They don't care
cheapest
what
one.
they just want proof if they get pulled over.
Yeah.
Officer, I have my insurance. That's
Yeah,
it.
right. Like you, and definitely now with this new law, right, that they said that like now you get pulled over if a cop sees you touch any,
Yeah, the touch law or whatever,
the phone
yeah.
or whatever. It's like I can't even push play on Spotify.
Yeah,
I
Bro,
know, right?
like there's a
yeah.
right, there's a hands-free setting on the phone for a reason. Like but you guys are for real, and now we got to pull over. So I don't know. Will people buy it? I don't know, but yeah, you
Yeah.
want to make sure you have your insurance if they're going to be this more, hyper vigilant.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
Cracking down, guys.
yeah, right. There's all types of stuff that's happening. I'm just curious, and I don't want to make this a political thing, but what's going on? And how do you guys feel about what's going on in LA right now with these protests? Are you guys familiar with the protests in LA right now?
we just said that Juan just said that he was getting all these videos on TikTok,
my TikTok,
and that it stopped.
it stopped out of nowhere. I was like trying to
Yeah,
see
trying to
keep up and see what's going on, and then all of a sudden, nope. Let me show you some cumbia dances now instead.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
TikTok
yes.
is like what keeps me updated, right? I don't really watch the news and stuff, so I'm aware of what's going on. I told myself on the drive here, don't go into this, don't talk about it.
I
wanna-
but
No, I mean, it's not even a political conversation. It's just what's
Yeah.
happening.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
just it's disheartening to see like what's going on right now. You kind of touch base on like the whole thing about the communities, right? I did a 5K run at the school, the elementary school that I used to go to. Like a lot of my family graduated from there. My kids went there. I coached a girls running team there, and we just did a 5K a month ago.
Oh,
It's
nice.
called Girls on the Run.
I'm familiar with
Great group of girls. It was very awesome. This was my second year doing it, but I was running with the principal, and we were I was asking her like, hey, how is it for the schools? Because it's a predominantly Hispanic school, and it's been scary. She said there's been people that haven't shown up, like families that are not taking their kids, and it's scary to think that could be us. This could be Chicago very soon. And what do you do? What do you do when you really feel like powerless and you're trying to help your community? You're trying to make sure that people are okay, but it's very disheartening. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. I try not to talk about it, but yeah, it is sad, and so I have a trip to Mexico scheduled in a couple of weeks. I'm nervous. Am I gonna be able to come back? I can't hide my nopal, you know what I mean? So so it's a little scary, scary times right now.
Well, it's not even. It's they're not. They're also taking citizens. That's what's
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why it's
exactly.
What do you do if you're legal here and they take you anyway? Like,
yeah,
do we even have any say? Do we even have any power to do anything?
yeah. It's natural born citizens are
Yeah.
also being harassed. It's
Yeah.
not just. It's not just the fact that they're undocumented. It's like easily like
Yeah.
any of us, and honestly, it's almost sounds racial, honestly,
Well, didn't
right?
they
It's
pick up like a
profiling.
marshal or something like that too?
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know. No, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
So, like at the end of the day, it's good that the entrepreneurs, I think when entrepreneurs realize how much power they have and say so, and
Yeah.
that they can contribute to communities and provide for communities and be there, because the reality is entrepreneurs have more resources, right?
Yeah, for
They
sure.
have more access.
And I feel like you have a bigger platform a lot of the times too, right?
Yes.
Because you market, you have to use social media.
Yes.
And yeah, I think people try to stay away from it, but if you have a platform, you should use it for the right reasons, for the right causes.
For sure, for sure. No, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it, because I woke up and I was like, I saw it on the news. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I kind of was happy. I was like, sometimes you need people to jack things up for people to listen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you do. Like, how do you, like the whole thing, like people don't realize when Martin Luther King, all that happened with him, like 3 days, there was riots happening. Like, it wasn't just like, it wasn't no peace after that.
Yeah.
Like, people like went bananas, or any situation happens, people have to kind of get reckless in order for changes to take place.
Have you guys seen the movie A Bug's Life?
Yeah.
So like that one scene where he explains it and throws a little.
What is it, like a little seed or something?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, like,
oh, did that hurt?
Yeah.
No.
Then he like
let's
releases
go.
the top.
Ominous.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's how you know we're all parents.
Yeah.
Because we've all seen The Bug's Life.
Actually, I saw it before I had kids, so damn.
I still watch kids movies.
Oh, me too. I love kid movies. No, I'm definitely like, I'm excited to watch the Lilo and Stitch movie. Like, I want to go see that.
Oh,
It's in the theater.
I don't know.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I haven't heard good reviews about it.
Really? Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, I heard that they cut out like a lot of characters.
Oh.
And I heard that it was very, like, the way they created or they portrayed the story, that they changed it and kind of like they gave up which was Lilo and which was Stitch, because who's the little girl?
Lilo.
The girl's Lilo. Like, the sister like gave her up to the state.
Oh wow!
And, they switched it. Yeah, so it was kind of like people were saying that the propaganda's getting real. Like, they're trying to convince you to start like giving your kids up. Like, it was just crazy.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's a good, man. I gotta watch that now. I mean, I watch, like, I'm the kid that. Well, I'm the adult that when I was a kid, I knew a lot of like the lines in movies of Disney movies.
I still do.
So like
Finding Nemo and Monsters Inc.
Those are
word for word.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like that for The Lion King.
Okay.
So like, I remember when they did the remake of The Lion King, the computerized version. I sat there in the theater and I was like saying the lines, and then when the line wouldn't come, I'd be like, "That's not what he said." He's supposed to say this. But that was just my little quirk, But either way, so what do we want? As we wrap up today's show, I know you guys shared like why you guys do what you do. You guys, how you fell into it. Like, what is it that you want people to know? Like, by watching this show, like, bottom line, this is what we need to focus on, or what we want. Why is this important?
Yeah. You want to go first, or?
Sure, I'll go first. I think more than anything, it's life insurance, right? It's very important for you to work with a reputable company. Country Financial has been in the business for 100 years already, so not very many companies make it 100 years. That says a lot. We are an A+ rated company, so again, that says a lot. We have very good ratings with third-party companies, so working with a reputable company, of course, is very important.
And don't forget, last year we voted.
Say that again. What?
Last year, voted #1 life insurance company.
Oh wow!
In the country.
That's awesome.
In the world by Forbes.
Oh wow! Really?
And this year, we were voted one of the top home insurance companies in Illinois by NerdWallet. So, yes, Country Financial. I love the company. I can attest to that. I've had it for several years, but life insurance is definitely something that I just don't think too many of our community members think about it too much. Unfortunately, it's kind of like taboo when we sit with someone. Sure. They're like, no, we're going to talk about it. Me voy a morir. Like, don't say that. Me vas a echar la sal. you're gonna jinx it. So
Me vas a
it's
echar
like,
la
come
sal.
on, we're all gonna die at some point. Like, but how prepared are you gonna be?
That's the
How-
reality.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so my mom died when I was 3. There was no life insurance policy in place, right? I went kind of, as like harsh as it sounds, I was like couch surfing a little bit, you know. I lived with my aunts, I lived with my brother, I lived with my sister. I always think back to that, like how much of a difference it would have made if there was something financial for us to like fall back on. And how prepared do you want to leave your family? You don't want to leave them in that same position, right? You want to leave them in a much better position. They're already going to be mourning your loss. So why have extra stress of having them, like Juan said, GoFundMe's? You have to do a kermes. You have to go out here and collect money. Just think about your family. You're not doing it for you, right? The money's not going to be for you. So
Yeah.
if you haven't already, just have a conversation. Start the conversation. Get information. Just
And the
be open to
and
it.
the policies are not even that expensive.
They're fairly
Really not.
inexpensive.
They're very
Like,
inexpensive.
you know how much money we spend at like
McDonald's?
Starbucks alone this morning? Like,
Yeah,
that's a life insurance
that's a
policy.
life
month right
insurance
now.
policy,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
always tell my compadres, hey, un 24.
There we go.
Well,
Yeah,
that,
a
That's
night
it.
out for sure.
just it's
Even just the 24.
well, a night out is probably a lot more expensive than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
these things are pricey, right?
Yeah.
Going out is expensive. Like, I'd rather stay home.
Oh, yeah.
But so if someone wanted to reach out to you and know more, where would they call?
77321. No, I'm just kidding.
I was really gonna write that.
708-219-5505. That's my direct cell phone. So just like Juan, you get direct access to myself directly. You're not calling an 800 number, so you can text there, you can call there. It'll ring. I have my phone right here. Can't pick it up if you call right now, but well, I'll call you back.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Country Financial Marisol, 708-219-5505. And Juan, if someone wants to reach out to you,
Yeah, so my cell phone number, 773-517-6807. That's probably going to be the best way to reach me. So yeah, just give me a call or text. Smoke signals, I'll keep an eye out.
Voice memos, whatever.
pigeons.
Pigeons,
Right. Did you know pigeons have fleas? Why did I just discover
Wait,
this?
what?
This is just
No.
that's a really random comment. But yesterday I was just like with my kids and we were coming out of the mall, and then my 11-year-old was like, "Did you know pigeons have fleas?" I was like, "No, I did not know that." But why?
Kids throw these random facts at you sometimes.
But seriously.
Pigeons were be used for like little mammals back in the day.
Yeah, they were.
And now
They're like treated
Now we
as
hate
the
them.
rat,
Yeah.
street rats.
the flying rat. They call them.
Flying rat, yeah.
Mhm.
We have actually another question here from Brian. Would you recommend an IUL policy or term policies?
Ooh, so that's a good question. But it really depends on the person's situation, right? So one thing about IULs, IULs are great policies for people that are business owners that might have that extra income, because IULs, so they have they're tied into the stock market, right? Depending on where you go to, there's a certain percent of growth, and then there's a certain percent of protection, right? Term policies, well, they're temporary policies that are good for X amount of years, right? So it really depends on the person's situation. A single mother or a single father might not be able to benefit afford it or benefit from an IUO at the moment. So maybe a term policy is good for them,
For sure.
I myself, I'm still not a homeowner, still working on that. But I know I have my two little ones, my 9-year-old, my 7-year-old, and I know they're going to need me for at least the next 20 years. So I'm going to take out a term policy in the meantime. Once I get a little bit more stable and got that extra income, then, I'll give myself an IUL. I do have a IUL for my kids. That is great for kids, especially because, think about my daughter, 9, when she's 39, there's going to be, because it's being exposed to the stock market, it's going to grow some cash value in it. So then she could have access to a down payment for a house in the future, or for college or for
the quinceañeras. We know Mexicans are big on quinceañeras.
yeah,
So.
a wedding, her wedding. So
I know. I mean, I don't recommend it, but parties entice people sometimes. So,
but it really comes down to everyone's situation. It's a matter of just kind of sitting down, kind of going over everything, and then setting that up. But the very first thing I will say is just apply.
For sure.
Apply for it. Once you get accepted, then we sit down. All right, let's see what best suits you. But yeah, so I know it's not probably the answer you wanted to hear, and I apologize, but it really depends on that person's situation. But
he actually added a second one. Thank you, Brian, for asking all these great questions. Have you heard of a company called WSB? They're always trying to recruit him.
I personally have not. No.
But I mean, we can recruit you, Brian. Come on.
Yeah. I know, right? Are you in the market?
Brian's also an agent, a realtor as well, and an investor. So
awesome.
But yeah, if you want to recruit, if you
want to leave an email address if you want to send over a resume.
Yeah, right.
But I think this is all like great information. I really appreciate you guys supporting my event. That's why I was like, I kept pushing you guys to come on here. Like, when are you guys gonna come so I can highlight you guys?
We were scheduled one day, but I got sick, right?
Yeah, I got sick one time, then I got sick, and it just we finally made it.
I know we finally made it happen. Thank God, right? Brian said, "No, I'm good." he put,
all right, Brian.
LMAO. No, Brian's cool though. But I'm glad that he's asking these questions because they're probably important. I think people are too intimidated to ask these questions.
Yeah.
It's intimidating.
It is.
It really is.
There's a lot of words a lot of big words, that get thrown around, and maybe it can be scary too. And that's why I try to make it as simple as possible.
For sure.
I like things simple for me, so I'm like, hey, that's how I'm gonna break it down.
For sure.
And
people don't need all these big words. Sometimes they're like, I need to have this big vocabulary so I can convey this message.
I'm not gonna understand half of what you're saying. Just break it down to me.
Talk normal to me.
Talk to me like I'm 5 years old.
And that's sometimes the best way to work with people, honestly. So I want to make sure that I share before I wrap up. I share my boot camp coming up. For those that are watching, we do have a boot camp coming up the 27th and the 28th of this month at Illinois Media School. So it's a 2-day event. We are looking for people. If you are looking to build your business, create a business plan, work on your marketing, work on your sales, work on your branding, right? I think a lot of times us as entrepreneurs, we never really work in the business, right? Mm-hmm. We're working on the business all the time. This is like a constant. We're always the next thing, but we don't take the time to let me really plan out.
I mean, because we have to do everything, right? We're every single part of the business. So there's a lot to take care of.
Exactly. So the business boot camp I've been doing, this is my 3rd business boot camp that I'm putting together, bringing speakers to really bring more workshop in-depth kind of conversations where I feel like when an entrepreneur comes, they need to get it all together, at least have an idea of where they're taking their business, right? And really plan those things out. Like, do you have an operations, right? Do you have your accounting together, right? Do you have your finances in order? Do you know what your cash flow looks like?
Do you even have a plan?
Do you even have a business plan, right? Yeah. Which is big. Brian he also wrote one more thing. I have 5 IUL policies. It's definitely worth it in the long run. Do it, people, while you're still healthy
and young.
And young. I agree. But thank you so much for your time.
Oh no, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate your support, sponsoring. Sure. Reach out to these people. They're awesome. If you guys need car, life, home commercial.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but so Country Financial also has financial advisors, right? So we just have our insurance license, but we also have financial advisors that can help out with retirement plans.
There you go.
So that's another thing that we offer. And I just wanted to say one last thing, con tu permiso and stuff, right? I'm sorry, but like kind of to touch a little bit more about life insurance, and I hate to just whatever, pero
gotta get the message out there.
It's like if you really want to make a difference as a Latino in this country, policy for your family, because generational wealth. That's one of those pieces. ¿Por qué crees que mucha gente en este país they're successful? Because grandfather had it.
Yep, I was just saying
The
this the other
dad,
day. Yep.
then dad saw the benefit of it. He took out, and then his son. So they don't have to suffer with having to work at 15, 16. They can go out and go to school and have those, doctorate degrees or whatever, and so if you really want to make a difference in this country and with your family, look into life insurance. It's not as expensive as people think. And there's a plan for everyone. It's just a matter of sitting down and having those conversations and just let's make that difference.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love the idea of generational wealth. I love the idea that that's how everybody does it. You're here to pass it on to your children, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, but thank you again, you guys,
Yeah.
for your time, Marisol.
Thank
Thank you, Juan,
No,
for
no,
being
no
here,
problem. No, thank you.
and dealing with my craziness.
Thank you for making this less intimidating than I thought.
Oh yeah, this is not yeah. I know most people are like, oh my god, and I'm like, you'll be fine. Trust me, I got you. Right? But thank you so much, everyone watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. Keep an eye out for the boot camp, the end of this month, and that's it. You guys have a great rest of your week. God bless you. Talk